Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. This year I decided to read through the text again, a paragraph or two at a time, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're looking at Chapter 2, Section 8, the meaning of the Last Judgment, paragraph 3. The Last Judgment is generally thought of as a procedure undertaken by God. Actually, it will be undertaken by my brothers with my help. It is a final healing rather than a meting out of punishment, however much you may think that punishment is deserved. Punishment is a concept totally opposed to right-mindedness, and the aim of the Last Judgment is to restore right-mindedness to you. The Last Judgment might be called a process of right evaluation. It simply means that everyone will finally come to understand what is worthy and what is not. After this, the ability to choose can be directed rationally. Until this distinction is made, however, the vacillations between free and imprisoned will cannot but continue. I had always imagined that I would stand before God and be judged when I died. I thought I would have to look at my life being replayed before me. And I envisioned every mistake I'd ever made balanced against the things I did right. I could just see God frowning down at me in either anger or disappointment. When I would do something especially shameful, I would cringe at the thought that one day I would have to explain myself to God. No wonder I was afraid of death. In spite of my fear of the Last Judgment, it was hard to let go. I felt I deserved to be punished. I also felt others needed to be punished. It's ridiculous to me now, but I would think of some people and feel a thrill of righteousness as I imagined them finally getting theirs when they had to face God. I had God as my own personal avenger. The unfortunate side effect was that the sword cut both ways. So I would have to face the same avenger. I guess that's why we thought that purgatory or levels of heaven or some such nonsense. We're trying to find a way to condemn others without condemning ourselves. We're always trying to do this, but it can't work. Actually, we're experiencing the Last Judgment right now. We're learning to tell the difference between what is valuable and what has no value. Until we learn to tell the difference, we have no basis for judgment, and so we cannot make a rational choice. We're always choosing between God and ego. We do this all day long, every day. But our choices are haphazard and often senseless because we don't understand why we make the choices we do, and because we're mistaken in our reasoning. Even minor thought errors must be seen differently. This happens over things that we think of as major decisions and those that are so minor in our minds that we hardly notice them. One morning, I went online and checked my bank accounts like I always do. There was a bank error they had promised to fix, and they hadn't done that. I chose to be angry about it, thinking about all the times when I've had to ask them to do things more than once. I felt this was careless for a bank. I chose to rein in my anger and thought about how I would approach the problem to let them know that I wanted this fixed without appearing bitchy. All of this happened in maybe a single minute. Then I realized the choice I'd made. I chose anger, projection, and blame. I chose anxiety over peace. And I chose to teach all of this to the bank personnel that I spoke with, and hopefully to do so in a way that left me looking innocent. I chose to teach us all that getting the banking right was our purpose, determined our worth, and determined our state of mind. If it all went well, then we could be at peace. If it's not done correctly, peace was out the door and someone was guilty. Seeing like that, I easily and quickly made a saner choice. I reevaluated it and decided to accept the atonement in this situation. I opened my heart and I asked for love to heal my mind in this situation. This is how I made another choice. You see, I'm learning to tell the valuable from the valueless. This is the last judgment occurring right here before my eyes. I'm doing this with Jesus under his direction and with his help. And in so doing, I'm being a teacher for God, and I'm sharing this with my brothers at the bank through my actions and attitude. And now to you through the retelling of the story. Of course, the peace is spread throughout the sonship, so the healing is for us all. I'm learning that all decisions are useful for this healing, not just the ones that feel important to me. I'm learning to watch for those opportunities and to open my mind to the truth. In this situation, with the banking error this morning, I could have closed my mind to the Holy Spirit. If I were very fearful about money, I might have been unwilling to see the bank as innocent. I might have been more interested in defending myself and unable to see this defense as valueless. For a long time, I remained confused when it came to my relationships. Anywhere I have a lot of fear, there is a possibility of confusion about what is important. When in fear, the tendency can be to set up defenses. When I was new at this, I just couldn't see how the other person or situation could be innocent. I couldn't imagine defenselessness as being a viable option, much less the best option. Those were the opportunities to be taught differently. I discovered that I could be easily healed if I stepped away from my fear long enough to ask for the atonement, and if I trusted enough to accept the healing. It's easier now that I'm convinced that my trust in Jesus is well-founded. It helps to remember that the Holy Spirit responds to my slightest invitation. I'm not doing this alone. I'm fully supported. So I'm experiencing the last judgment right now as I choose the valuable beliefs over the valueless ones. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that it was helpful to you. If it was, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with another reading. See you then.